the whole game that we got to get better at, and especially in the fourth. I think going up 10, going to the fourth, it was a good opportunity for us to kind of take control, and we didn't. So I definitely wish I had that last play back. So I'm gonna watch film and see what my options were, and just hopefully if I'm in that position again, I'll be better.
Welcome to SI Now. I'm Madeline Burke alongside Robin Lundberg, and that was a very bummed out Kevin Durant after the Houston Rockets got a big win at Oracle Tuesday night in the first close game of the conference finals. They even the series. Did anyone see that coming?
Finally, Game 4 Rockets and Warriors tonight in San Francisco. Who you got?
I think it's going to be a one-possession game, but I think the Rockets might edge it out. A one-possession game, but I think the Rockets might edge it out.
The Rockets might edge it out.
Edge it out. The Rockets edge it out. That would make things pretty interesting. Good call. Did you tell him to do that and put you in isolation like the Rockets offense?
Producer Sean with the slow-mo emphasis on that, but it was a one-possession game. The Rockets won by 3. They evened the series, going back to Houston for Game 5. Can the Rockets actually do it? Can they win this series?
Before I tackle whether they can do it, I can't believe they did it. It felt like that game was over after those Steph Curry haymakers in the third quarter to hold the Warriors to just 12 points in the fourth. Durant, 1 of 5. Curry, 1 of 8. Tremendous performance, especially by Chris Paul. Whatever people say about him, it's the first time he's been in the conference finals. That guy is a winner. He led the way for them. And I think the most important thing now is there is actual, real pressure on the Golden State Warriors. There hasn't been any pressure on the Warriors since Durant got there, so we'll see how KD and the Warriors deal with feeling that pressure for the first time when they go to Houston with this series tied.
And like you mentioned, that fourth quarter, this Rockets team was built with offense in mind, but their defense has been ridiculous. They've been stepping up their 6th-ranked defense in the league this season, their 2nd-best defense in the playoffs. James Harden with back-to-back steals last night. Who's seen James Harden go back-to-back defensively on a playoff, on a series at all ever? This has been a ridiculously fun series to watch. Overcoming a 12-point deficit, coming back, winning it, going back for Game 5. That's going to be...
And the Rockets only played 7 guys, so all those guys had to really contribute. P.J. Tucker was great.
Guys.
And I think it's important to note, Andre Iguodala missed this game, and now Klay Thompson dealing with a knee strain.
And Klay came back in the game, but he wasn't the same Klay that we saw earlier, wasn't the same Klay that we know to expect with that last shot with half a second left. What was that?
You don't want to be dealing with Swaggy P as a mainstay for you. I never thought that the Warriors were vulnerable. At least this has made me think that the Rockets have a chance to win the series, which is delicious. And that sets up, the possibilities for the NBA Finals with both the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference Finals tied at 2 games apiece. What finals matchup do you want to see?
Well, I would like to see Houston, Boston. I like chaos. I want chaos. And first of all, the Game 5 winner has won the series. When the series is tied at 2-2, the Game 5 winner has won the series historically 83% of the time. So a lot of this is hinging on Game 5 in both of these. But Celtics, Rockets, chaos. Before the season, everyone was talking about, Warriors, Cavs, round 4, we're doing this. This is a foregone conclusion. Just fast forward the regular season. Let's get to that. I think that this would be great to see. This Rockets team is playing ridiculously well. This Celtics team is like this lovable underdog, not so underdog, talented squad. I think it'd be great.
Give me the Rockets and the Cavaliers, because if it were the Warriors and Cavs again, it would feel like it was inevitable that Golden State's going to win. LeBron sees Houston, he might have a chance at getting another championship. Plus, it would be Paul and Harden going for their first. So I like the storylines between the Cavs and the Rockets.
I can see that. There's some good storylines in this one indeed. But switching to the NFL, coming off a 2017 NFL season in which hundreds of players knelt during the national anthem, a statement started by Colin Kaepernick to protest racial injustices in the United States. The league is now considering some rule changes. According to MMQB's Albert Breer, one anthem idea being discussed is leaving it up to the home team on whether or not teams come out on the field at all for the anthem. And if teams do come out for the anthem, teams could be assessed 15-yard penalties for players kneeling. Now, more updates on this include the possibility that teams could be fined instead of individual players if, quote, personnel do not show proper respect for the flag and the anthem. Robin, what do you make of this idea?
It's insane.
Absolutely.
It's disgusting
Absolutely.
to punish people for peaceful protests First of all, that's number one. Number two, when you're dealing with this issue, they're only trying to cater to one demographic, and I feel like they risk alienating a lot of their fans. And then finally, number three, with respect to the issues at hand, nobody was really talking about this anymore. And the owners seem obsessed with it, yet they're the only ones keeping it in the news. And by doing this, they're going to keep it in the news negatively when I don't think it would have even been a story.
This was never meant to be something to say, stick it to the flag, stick it to the U.S. This is something meant to draw attention to an issue that needs attention. And if we spent that time talking about the issue as opposed to the kneeling, that would be more productive of our time. But this goes back to the Supreme Court. In 1943, West Virginia State Board of Education versus Barnett ruled, quote, if there's any fixed star in our constitutional constellation, is that no official, high or petty, can prescribe what shall be orthodox in politics, nationalism, religion, or other matters of opinion, or force citizens to confess by word or act of their faith therein. So lots of legal jargon there, but essentially that says what shall be orthodox in politics includes how we respect the flag, freedom of speech, how we respect the national anthem. Nobody's up in arms for people ordering chicken fingers during the national anthem. Why are you up in arms for people drawing attention to an issue that needs to be discussed?
When you talk about respect, this shows a lack of respect for many of their players and many of their fans. And really, it's authoritarian. That's what it is. And shame on the NFL if this stuff goes through.
Olympic bronze medal winning figure skater, Dancing with the Stars champion, Adam Rippon is here. Adam, welcome to Sports Illustrated. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So first of all, we got to start with the Olympics. You won America's heart in Pyeongchang and had quite the adventure there. Did you have like a little bit of an Olympic high to come down off of after that experience?
In a way, I don't feel like I've taken a day off or actually had like 5 minutes to myself since the Olympics. And I say that in the best way possible because I feel like I've been so lucky to share my story, meet so many incredible people, and to be then thrown into this abyss of doing so much media and then getting to do Dancing with the Stars and Stars on Ice has just been honestly so much fun.
And we got to talk about Dancing with Stars. It was an athletes-only edition, pretty incredible, winning it, of course. Did you feel like it gave you a little bit of an edge with the figure skating and that choreography familiarity as well?
There's a few things that I feel like I could use to my advantage. One, I've worked with music before, and two, the other competitors in the competition, I felt like, they've never worn a costume. Well, I was on tour. So I was like, I was just in this, me being in a costume is just a normal Monday night.
Garden variety, average day.
Yeah, average day, some mesh with like sequins on it. I'm like, okay.
Can we throw some more flames and sparkles on
I'm like,
this?
it's Monday.
It's Monday.
Other than that, it's a level playing field.
Yeah, and I mean, in the athletes-only edition, there were some fellow figure skaters. Tanya Harding, Mariah Nagasu was one of them. You had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Josh Norman. Did you kind of develop some relationships with some of these athletes throughout this experience?
One of the people who I was so excited to meet was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. One, because I admire him as an athlete so much, but more than that, I admire him for the humanitarian work that he's done. I had the chance to share with Kareem that back in the day, when my dad was about 11 or 12, Kareem did a game, and my dad was really young and was just playing basketball, and Kareem was doing a game, and my dad shot like 1 or 2 baskets with Kareem, and my dad said he was so nice. And then my dad followed his career and knew so much about him, and before I did the show, my dad was like, you need to make sure that you know all about him before you get to meet him and really know who you're meeting. And so I did, and I did my research, and I mean, I'm such a huge fan.
You and Gus Kenworthy, your fellow Olympian, are putting on or hosting the Trevor Project's Trevor Live New York Gala. Why was this event so special to you and important for you to lend your voice to?
I think since the Olympics, I've had this really crazy and amazing opportunity to kind of use this platform and use it to help other people and use my voice for people who may feel like their voice isn't being heard. And I think the work that the Trevor Project does for LGBTQ youth is so important. And just to be a part of it, I'm so honored that they've asked me, and I'm so excited to be a part of this dinner.
And this is just one of the many ways that you have been kind of vocal and active in the LGBTQ community. What would you say to some other athletes that perhaps are considering how they will come out?
I think more than anything that whether you're gay or you're not, that on some level we all feel a little different at times. And I think that sometimes we may feel like we'll be judged or people might not like us. And I think it's a totally normal emotion to feel as just a human being. And what I've learned throughout the course of my life and through my experiences is that it doesn't matter where you come from, or where you've been, but what matters the most is the way you treat other people. As long as you treat others the way that you want to be treated, as long as you're kind, as long as you give back, you can really embrace who you are. And when you're able to do that, you are really, truly living your best life.
You've got the Olympic medal, you've got the Dancing with the Stars, you've done so many appearances in magazines and whatever. What goal do you have for yourself now? What's next for Adam Rippon?
Honestly, I think that I am trying to figure out what is next. And I think that even though I might not know what the solid or clear answer is right now, I think I have so many opportunities and so many people I've met with that I feel like something really big is sort of on the horizon. What I've learned through sports, to work hard, to focus on where you want to go. I think that whatever I go into next, that all of those lessons I'll be able to apply, and it will really help me.
Adam Rippon, thank you so much for taking the time today and for everything you're doing in this world.
Oh, thank you. It's totally my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm here with UFC star Cody Garbrandt, who has a new book, The Pact, out right now. Before we get to your book, though, this summer, you have a chance to recapture that bantamweight title from TJ Dillashaw. What do you think is going to be different about this one than the result last time?
I think my whole mental state going into this fight is going to be different. I'm healthy, for one, so I'm happy that I'm healthy. Me and my wife just had a newborn child 8 weeks ago, so that's motivation in itself to go out there and reclaim the title and definitely just get it back, and get back to where I belong. And I'm very excited for this fight with TJ.
Now, TJ's been talking a lot, and he says you don't know what is at stake and that a loss would severely damage your career. Do you think he's right?
You know what? No, I've always learned from my losses. In my career, that was the first time I lost in 5 years. And that loss, the last loss was what propelled me to be a world champion and really dig deep and find out who I was. I was an amateur the last time I lost, and this is a great learning experience. I took so much from that fight. Not that I don't from wins, but I take more from my losses. So it's it woke me up, relit a fire under me, and I'm super motivated more now than ever to go out there and just reclaim my title against TJ. He's a great competitor, great adversary, but he's going to bring out the best of me August 4th.
Now, obviously, there's more to you than just the fight game. You've got the book, The Pact, out right now. You're just 26. Most people haven't lived their life story by then. Why the book now?
It was a timing thing, with the story with me and Maddox and the pact that we made. It was nearly 6 years in the making. We promised each other that he would beat cancer and I'd make it to the UFC, and I would take him along the journey with me, and we'd win the world title together. And that chapter of our life is closed, and we're moving on from that. I think it was the right timing to share our story and get it out to the world, hopefully inspire and motivate people all over. And that's why we decided to come out with the book now at this kind of time, and kind of close that chapter and go down a different road and different journey together.
Obviously, you've made it from championships to the book, and you're talking about your mother. One of the portions in the book is about your father and how he was in and out of jail. Is there a part of you that wishes he was around to see more of this journey, or was that part of your motivation as well?
I think that was a lot of my motivation to strive to be a better man than the father that I had, but it wasn't in my life. And my mother was such a saint. She was a mother and father and really put her children before her, and showed us that tough love. So I'm forever grateful for the life lessons and the way that we were raised from her. And my father not being in my life was not a crutch or anything in my life. I'm thankful that he wasn't. Actually, he may be up for parole in the summer. He actually called me after I won the world title, and that was the first time I talked to him in nearly a decade. So it wasn't there in our life, but it showed me who I didn't want to be. So now I'm a father, and I get to be a father to my son, and that's what I'm aspiring to be, just a good father and a good husband and good family man. That's what I'm about now, and winning this title.
Now, something else related to the fight game, of course, there are dangers in that sport relative to a lot of other sports. And you said you received your first concussion at age 6. Yeah. With all of the new revealing studies that we see, does that weigh on your mind about how long you want to do it?
For me, fighting's changed my life, and for the better. Without fighting, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't, been able to do a lot of great things in my life and see the world in this kind of perspective. So I'm forever grateful for fighting. I know at the end of the day what could happen in there. I've had some serious injuries with brain trauma, but it's given me a life worth living. It's given me purpose. I wake up every day with the drive and passion to get better. Every fight you can just climb that ladder, and that's what I'm chasing. I'm chasing greatness. So as long as Lord willing, I have longevity and I stay healthy in this career, and I can make the money and get out, and just then take care of my family. That's what it's about now.
I want to touch on a couple of topics that are big headlines, at least tangentially related to the UFC. Floyd Mayweather, who's talked about if he's going to return to fighting, it would be in mixed martial arts. Do you think that's a mistake? That's
definitely a mistake. Floyd Mayweather built his legacy in boxing, one of the best boxers to do it, undefeated, highest paid athlete. MMA is a different beast than boxing. He should stay retired, or he's going to get seriously hurt.
Now, he's a very good striker, and I guess some people are curious with that boxing stance, if somebody's coming in to try and shoot, if he could actually protect himself in that fashion.
Definitely. I mean, he has, good defense for boxing, but in MMA, you have the takedowns, you have the flying knees, the spinning heel kicks, the elbows. I mean, you have so many just different things flying at you so fast and powerful. In boxing, you have to worry about the hands and the head movement and the stamina. It's a different game in there. It's a different game. Stand up to boxing to MMA, you have to worry about the wrestling, the submissions, and I just think he's too old to learn that. These guys, some of these kids have been wrestling since, like myself, been 5 years old. And, Floyd's never wrestled in his life. He's boxed. He's one of the best boxers, taking nothing away from him. It's a different sport from boxing to MMA. It's for Conor to go in there and to compete with Floyd the way he did was really, it was great for the sport. It was great for the sport. If Conor would have went in there and McGregor would have knocked him, or if Floyd would have knocked him out, then it would have been bad. It's like, MMA fighters have nothing to do in boxing. They shouldn't be here, But he went in there and made it competitive. It was an entertaining fight, But if Floyd fought Conor in MMA, I think that Conor would take him out in the first round.
And then finally, back to the book, The Pact. Is there one message you would want people to take away from it?
Yeah, definitely. I think that just no matter what you're going through in this life, just always have a dream, have the courage to chase it. No matter how low you are, how high you are in your life, you just always got to stay balanced and keep the blinders on, stay focused on your task at hand, and set goals and just reach them.
Boxing legend Sugar Ray Leonard is joining us on behalf of his Sugar Ray Leonard Foundation to promote the 9th annual Big Fighters, Big Cause charity boxing night to help fight diabetes on May 23rd. Tell us about your 9th annual charity boxing night and how people can get involved, Sugar Ray.
Well, this is so personal to me. My father, he had type 2 diabetes. Quite a few of my friends themselves have type 1 or type 2 diabetes. My wife and I put together this foundation 9 years ago. And, I'm so blessed, first of all, to have had an incredible boxing career, opportunities. So for me, it's about giving back. It's about reciprocating.
Now, when you are looking back on your boxing career, obviously legendary. Now, the boxers of today, there's some that stand out more than others. Floyd Mayweather, I guess his boxing career is over. I recently talked to Layla Ali, who told me that If he had fought in a different era, she'd be very curious to see how he would do. Do you share that sentiment? Do you think it would have been different for Floyd if he had fought in a different era?
Well, if he fought my era, it'd be a different story. But you know, that's so hypothetical, and depends on who you ask. You get different answers and what have you. But Floyd is a great fighter. He will indeed be looked upon as one of the all-time greats. So, you know, I feel that I could beat everyone. Muhammad Ali felt that he could beat everyone. I mean, that's the whole mindset of a fighter, of a champion.
If you were in the same era as Floyd and you guys were going against each other, what would you do? What specifically about you do you think would give you the edge in that fight?
Well, the way I observe and I break down Mayweather's style and what have you, there's no one thing you can do to overcome him or beat him. There's a number of things. He first of all, he's fast. He's in incredible shape. He's very defensive, and he's quick. You know, I think all those factors mean a lot.
Canelo Alvarez recently enrolled into a voluntary drug testing program. In your opinion, how much has he hurt his reputation as being one of the best fighters in the division?
Significantly, no question about that. I had not heard that, but I'm sorry to hear that. Yes, severely.
Do you think that PED use is a big problem in boxing?
It's a problem, and I mean, it's a problem. I mean, that's as much I can really elaborate on that.
Is there something you think that they could do to correct it? Or, you know, how does it differ from when you were training?
You know, it's hard to say because there was not those kind of problems when I was coming up throughout my career, I should say. You know, boxing just needs to fix itself.
Now, we see you active on social media, jump roping, golfing, building houses. You just recently celebrated your 62nd birthday. Happy birthday. How can I be as good a shape as you're in at 62 years old?
Don't procrastinate. You just have to do it, man. I mean, so every year we get older, it gets a little harder and harder. But you know what? I have this mindset. I have this attitude that when I work out, already I feel productive that day or that morning.
Boxing legend Sugar Ray Leonard, really appreciate you joining us. Of course, Sugar Ray Leonard Foundation promoting the 9th annual Big Fighters, Big Cause charity boxing night to help fight diabetes, May 23rd. Appreciate the time, Sugar Ray.
All right.